infrastructure.
I think it'll open. I just remember thinking, oh, it's 3 weeks. So, yeah.
Shall we?
Yes, let's. All right.
All right, I'll count us down from three, two, one. Let's hit start. Great. All right, let's take 3 deep breaths to begin, just to get ourselves in the right mind space to calm down, get some stretching to start our week. So as we lengthen our spines, let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Okay, feel your chest expand. And then as you breathe out, pay attention how the air feels against your lips, your body relaxing down a little bit. Number two, let's breathe in through the nose. And then long breath out once again. All right, one more time. Let's breathe in through the nose. Sit up a little bit taller. And then as you breathe out, relax your body. And then as you resume a normal breathing pattern, let's take a moment to notice how your body feels. Maybe you're tired. Maybe there's a certain part of your body sore, whatever. Just notice how you feel. And then we're going to do the same thing towards the end of today's practice. And let's relax our whole body top to bottom. So start with the crown of your head, working your way down our face, relaxing your eyelids, your nose, your lips, down to your neck. Maybe wiggle the head a little bit, or move it back and forth, whatever feels good. We're going to relax your head. And then from our neck, let's move down through the shoulders, and the biceps and forearms, all the way to the palm of your hands. And then notice how your hands feel, whether they're relaxed on your knees, whether clasped in your lap or palms up on your knees, whatever. Just take a moment to notice how your hands feel. Maybe wiggle your fingers. We want to breathe back up through the arms, through the shoulders, and back to your chest. As it expands, it contracts as we continue to breathe. And then from the chest down to your belly, give yourself a nice big belly breath. And let's go down to the lower half of our body. So notice where your glutes touch your mat. Then through your big muscles, your quads and hamstrings. If you're sitting cross-legged like me, so your knees and shins. And then where your shins touch your feet. All right, and then just continue to sit here and breathe and notice how your whole body feels now that we've focused on each individual part. All right, one more deep breath into the nose. Let's hold it at the top. And then breathe out gently as you open up your eyes. All right. I'm gonna hop off my block. Ugh. Let's start with a sitting side stretch. So let's look up at the ceiling and reach both arms up like you're trying to touch your ceiling. Let's start with the right side today. So right palm is on the mat. Left arm reaches overhead. Okay. That left sit bone is still making contact with your mat. Feeling the stretch go all the way from your left hip up through your arm to your fingertips. And then let's lift the right hand back up to the top and come down on the left. So left palm is planted, right arm reaches overhead. We're turning our chins upwards and looking up. Ugh. All right, and let's bring that left hand back up. And then bring the hands together. Let's do a twist. So twisting clockwise, okay, while the spine is nice and tall. Right fingertips or right palm is pressed to the ground with the base of your spine. Chin turned toward your right shoulder. And every time you breathe out, twist a little bit more. Push with both palms or both fingertips. Ugh. All right, as you breathe out, let's come back to the front and then twist counterclockwise or to the left. And I'm pressing my right palm into the left knee. Ugh. Okay, chin is now turned towards the left shoulder. And then as you breathe out, let's come back to center and let's get our cobbler pose. Oh, scoot back just a hair, bring my feet together. Okay, pulling in my heels towards my soft tissue. Knees drop down. And then reach forward or lean forward. Feel your inner thighs. Ooh. Oh. All right. Let's round out our backs. I'm going to crawl with my fingertips in front of me. Ooh. Definitely feeling yesterday's run, but that's a good thing as we stretch. Means the stretch is working, or hopefully working. All right, let's get one more deep breath in here. And then exhale, go a little bit further forward. Get every last millimeter. Oh. And then we'll sit back up, bring the knees together, and let's gently stand up. All right, let's get our favorite hamstring stretch. Legs super wide, legs are straight though, toes facing forward. Reach both arms up to the ceiling. Deep breath in. And exhale as you swan dive down. Control your descent. Oh, and hamstrings are feeling just as bad as the inner thighs, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to use my yoga block just because I have it. But I'm going to use my hands and push my torso towards the back of the room. Make the stretch slightly more intense. Or you can just dangle the upper body and let gravity do all the work. It's just as good, just as effective. Ooh. All right, let's go for stage two. Let's clasp the hands behind your lower back and then reach your hands up towards the ceiling. Ooh. All right, hamstrings should be getting to feel it now, or start to feel good. And then gently release the hands back down to the ground. Let's start by planting that right palm on the floor and then rotating the left arm up to your ceiling and then pushing the ground with the left palm while you're reaching up to the ceiling with your left fingertips. And then turn your chin up to the ceiling, opening up the chest and shoulder on the left. All right. And then gently exhale as you drop the left hand back down to the ground and switch sides. So that left palm is planted, right fingertips reach up. And as you breathe out, drop the right hand back down. And then we're going to just sit here for a few moments, a few breaths, letting that hamstring hopefully get a little deeper. Ooh. All right, let's get our hip flexors. So let's start with the left. So rotating 90 degrees to the left. So your right leg is straight and you're in a low lunge on the left. And I already feel my right hip flexor begin to stretch. Let's gently drop that back knee down to the mat, untuck the right foot. Okay, arms and torso come up. Okay, rotate your hip. Feel the pinch in that right hip flexor. You can even reach your right arm up towards the left. Pull it from the top and the bottom. And a bonus side stretch for the right. Ugh. Ooh. All right, a little bit longer. My hip flexors are feeling it. Everything's feeling it. All right, let's gently drop the hands back down, come forward, lift the right knee up. Okay, we're in a low lunge on the left. Okay, fingertips are on the mat and rotate slowly back to center. Legs are straight for a moment. And then we're going to rotate 90 degrees to the right until we're going to lunge on the right. Okay. Let's drop that left knee down, untuck the left foot, bring the arms and torso up. Now the left hip flexor is saying hello. We are stretching that left side. Ooh. Ooh. Almost too much. Okay, adjust as needed. No need to overdo it. Yeah. All right, and let's bring the arms and torso forward. And go back on those left toes. So we're in a low lunge on the right. And then come back to center or back to the front. Legs are straight. Let the weight of your upper body drop back down. I know it's a lot of hamstrings. Just comes to show how much I need it. All right, let's do our slow 10 count to straighten back up. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring my legs together. Oh, and then let's do our neck stretches. So let's grab the left wrist, chicken wings on the right, dropping the head down to the right. Ooh. Touch your right ear to your right shoulder. That's the way I always like to think about it, or try to. And then dropping the head back as we look up. And then rotating the head forward as we look down. All right, and then heads back to center and then back up top, switching sides, grabbing that wrist, the right wrist, head drops over to the left. Ugh. And then gently rolling the head forward. All right, and then rolling the head back as we look up. Okay, and then back to center, back up top, releasing the right wrist. Let's do a standing side stretch. So starting by standing nice and tall, reach the arms up, similar to the sitting version. Try to touch your ceiling. Let's start on the left. So dropping my left arm down, kicking out my right hip. That right arm is overhead, no bend at the elbow. Okay, looking up and feel that stretch go all the way down your side to your hip. And every time you breathe out, reach for the last millimeters up in the air with those right fingertips. And then let's lift the left hand up and drop the right hand down. And now we're feeling the left side. Ugh. Let's bring that right hand back up to the top. And then bring the hands to heart center as we transition into Malasana. So hands remain where they are, medium-ish width stance, and then lower yourself down the mat. I'm actually going to go for the support leg version. Do whatever works for you. But continue to breathe. Maybe rock side to side. Ugh. Ooh. All right, and we'll stay here for 3, 2, 1. Get out of that one. Ooh. All right, let's do shoulders and triceps before we do our moving options. So quick left arm across the top, grabbing our left shoulder. Oh, why do I hurt so much? All right, switching sides, grabbing the right. You're gonna hold that long. All right, let's do left arm behind the head. And we'll switch, grabbing our right elbow as the right arm is behind our head. Kind of feel a mini neck stretch. Oof. All right, let's release that. I'm gonna take off my sweater, come to the front of our mats, standing up nice and tall. Ooh. Okay, feet and legs together. Let's bring the arms up as we look up. Okay, let's do 2 warm-up swan dives. So we're coming down, reaching for the ground. Come up to flat back, resting the hands at the knees. And then as you breathe out, round at your back and reach a little bit lower, and then eyes up, head up, reverse swan dive. Okay, hamstrings are already feeling good. Hands to the top. Swan dive down a second time. Up to flat back. Exhaling, rounding at the back, and then reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And then third time down. Okay, feeling a little more fluid. Up to flat back. And on this third one, as you round out your back, plant both palms, stepping back to plank. And let's chaturanga down to the first upward dog of the day. Okay, I'm going to hold this one for a moment or two. You can even turn your chin and look up and stretch the front of your neck, or balancing on the tops of the feet and the palms of the hands. All right, eyes back forward. Let's come back to plank. Push up here in the weighted downward dog. Shoulders cracking. That's okay. Let's push the floor away. Legs are straight. Drive those heels down to the mat. Let's focus on the calves. Okay, we're gonna bicycle the legs. Just alternate. Okay, stay in motion. You can even hold each one, up to you. I think I'm gonna go for the bicycle version this week. Oof. Ugh. All right, let's come into neutral downward dog. Both legs are straight. Let's do a crescent pose to a prayer twist. So bring your feet together. Let's start on the right. So lifting the right leg up in the air as high as you can. And then swing that right leg through and plant it in front. And then bring the arms and torso up. Okay, left leg is straight. And left heel is reaching for the mat. While your fingers reach up to the ceiling, no bend at the elbow. And then on your next exhale, bring your hands to heart center and come into prayer twist on the right. Left elbow is resting on the right knee. Okay, hands are pressed together. Right elbow is facing the ceiling. Breathing. All right. And then let's return to crescent pose. Both arms reach up to the ceiling. And then as you gently breathe out, bring the hands back down to the mat, plant both palms. Right leg comes back to plank, and let's chaturanga down. Upward dog. Okay, back to plank, push up here, and return to downward dog. Okay, really push the floor away once again. Feel your calves stretch out. And then bring your feet and legs together. Let's lift that left leg up in the air as high as it can go. And swing it on through and plant it in front. And then lift the arms and torso up to crescent pose on the left. And that right heel reaches down to the mat. Right hip flexor makes a return in a good way. Right, find your foundation and then drop your hands to your heart. Come into prayer twist on the left. And we're gently breathing, finding our balance, finding our center. And we'll come out in 3, 2, and 1. Let's reach the hands back up to the ceiling. Whew. And then bring your arms and torso back down to the ground. Plant both palms. Left leg comes back to plank. And let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. And then come back into plank and then walk the feet towards the hands for a sun salutation. And reverse swan dive to the hands or the top. And swan dive gently back down. Okay, those hamstrings are really opening up in a nice way. Up to flat back. And exhale, planting both palms, stepping back to plank. Let's chaturanga down into an upward dog. Back to plank, push up here, and return to downward dog. We're back on the right side, but we're doing our warrior sequence. So feet and legs together. Float that right leg up in the air. And do one knee to nose. See if you can make contact. And then lift that right leg back up. Hold it momentarily. And then swing it through and plant that right foot in front. And then arms come up as that left heel drops down. Take a couple exhales. Okay, sink a little bit lower into that warrior one. Really press those feet into the mat. And then transition to warrior two, arms front and back. Palms facing the ground. If you notice yourself either leaning forward or leaning back, straighten up your body. And then as you exhale, settle. All right, let's dip back into reverse warrior. So left hand rests gently in that left leg, and your right fingertips reach for the back, overhead, and then return to warrior two. And then reach forward with the right hand and then drop the right hand down the mat for triangle pose. Okay, remember you can rest your fingertips or your fist or your palm on the left or the right side of your right foot. Okay, many options. But left fingertips are reaching for the ceiling as we look up. And then let's go for extended triangle pose. So take that left hand and reach towards the front of the room overhead. Hopefully you feel a little stretch in your left side. Maybe not, that's also okay. And then return to regular triangle pose. And let's do the pretzel this week. We haven't done it in a while. So drop that left hand behind your lower back. Right hand reaches underneath your right leg. And we're opening up the left shoulder as we look up. And we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands. Left hand reaches back up. Right hand is resting on your mat. Okay, your right quad might be on fire. Stay with me. Let's pop back up into warrior two. Dipping back into reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Left arm swings forward and up for warrior one. And then as your arms come down, that left heel comes up, plant both palms. Right leg comes back to plank, and let's chaturanga down. Do an upward dog. Okay, let's do our sun salutation back to plank, and then walk the feet towards the hands. And reverse swan dive. Hands are at the top. And then back down. Up to flat back. Exhale, round out that back. Plant both palms back to plank, and let's chaturanga down. Do an upward dog. Okay. Back to plank, push up here on the way to downward dog. And we're on the left side. So bring the feet together and float the left leg up in the air. And let's do our knee to nose. And then return that left leg up in the air. And swing the left leg through and plant it in front. And come into warrior one on the left. So left knee is tracking over the left ankle. Square up your shoulders so they're even with the front of your mat. Okay, no bend at the elbow, palms facing one another. Settle with your breath. All right, arms front and back for warrior two. And dipping back into reverse warrior. See how far back you can reach for those left fingertips. And then back to warrior two. And then reach forward as we prep for triangle pose on the right. So left hand comes down, right fingertips reach up, eyes and chin turn up. All right, extended triangle pose. So take that right hand and reach it towards the front. And return that reach up to the ceiling, and then drop your right arm behind your lower back. Left hand goes underneath your leg. See if you can make contact. And just like the other side, we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing the hands. Left hand's planted. Right arm is reaching up. And then let's pop back up into warrior two. Dipping back into reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Swing that right arm forward and up for warrior one. And let's bring the arms back down as that right heel comes up. Plant both palms. Chaturanga down. Into upward dog. Ooh. Great. Let's come back to plank. Give you a push up here. Into downward dog. Ooh. And as you settle with the breath, push the floor away a little bit more. Stretch those calves. All right. Let's do chair pose. So walk the feet slowly towards the hands. And then bring your feet and legs together and drop your bottom down as your arms come up. And straight line from your glutes through your torso to your hands. Palms parallel, arms parallel. Continue to breathe. All right, and keeping the arms and torso where they are, slowly straighten up your body. Lift your heels up and reach up towards the ceiling, balancing on your toes. Right. And then exhale as you lower the heels down, hands come to heart center. Let's do twisting chair pose to the left. So bending the knees, bending at the hips. Rest the right elbow on that left knee. And see how low you can go while maintaining balance. Whew. Okay, and then hands come back to center. Let's straighten up a second time as we reach for the ceiling. Heels lift off. See how high you can go once you're at the top. Continue to reach, maybe find an extra half millimeter or whatever. Work your calves, work those stabilizer muscles. And then continue to reach with the arms. Gentle breath in. And then exhale, heels down, hands together. Let's round it out with twisting chair pose on the right. Whew. And hands come back to center. One last time. Reach up to the ceiling. And we're balancing on our toes. Whew. Let's breathe in through the nose. And then as you breathe out through the mouth, control the descent, heels down, hands come to heart center. And let's do tree. All right, let's balance on our left leg, left foot. Let's get the right foot in place. Ooh, okay. Find your balance, lengthen your spine, stand up as tall as you can. Add the hands or arms, wherever allows you to find your center. I'm actually looking at the tree outside the window. One with the tree. All right, stay for another 5 seconds or so. And then let's gently bring that right foot out. Okay, rotate that left ankle and then find balance on your right side. Bring your left foot into position. Let's see if we're as balanced on the right as we are the left. Okay, adding the hands and arms. Okay, feeling pretty good this week, pretty balanced. And we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left leg comes out. Shake out my right foot. Let's have a seat. Oh, ugh. Let's start with a hamstring stretch rather than table. Let's change it up. Since we just balance on our legs, let's stretch them out. So I'm going to extend out my left foot, bring my right heel in towards my soft tissue. Foot is flexed, so my toes are facing the ceiling. Arms reach up to begin. And gentle exhale as we stretch forward, reaching for our toes, reaching for our heel. Ooh. Every time you exhale, you can reach a little bit further. Kind of feel like I'm topped out. Ugh. That's okay. Let's sit back up. Switch legs. Ugh. So left heel is in towards the soft tissue, right leg is stretched or out in front rather. And then exhale down over that straight right leg. Ugh. All right. And then relax and sit back up. You can keep your right leg there. As always, we do both legs together since we did them individually. So quads, knees, shins, ankles touching. Okay, add the arms for the third time. And then exhale down over both legs. Hopefully you feel pretty open, pretty stretched, since we always do about 15 or 20 minutes of moving options, which once again, hopefully open up your hamstrings and legs. So this shouldn't feel too bad, but don't let me project. All right, let's release. We'll return to table. So plant the feet in front, shoulder distance apart. Palms are planted behind. Then lift your body off the mat. Push your hips up to the ceiling. Okay. I always feel this from my shoulders through my bicep, and it always is so good. And slowly lower yourself back down to the mat. Let's lie down on our backs, keeping the feet planted. Okay. We're going to roll onto our shoulders as we return our hips up into the air for a nice glute bridge. You can either leave the hands on the floor, or if you want, you can rest them on your lower back for the supported version. Elbows are resting on the ground, whatever works. But constantly push your hips up to the ceiling. And then slowly lower back down. Ooh. Just take a couple gentle breaths for yourself before we do a thread the needle and stretch out our glutes. But let's keep that right foot planted on the mat. Bring the left ankle into position. On the right quad, let's grab the right leg and begin to stretch our left glute. Okay, every time you breathe out, relax your body. Breathing into the left glute so you can get the stretch a little bit deeper. All right. Let's release the right leg. Plant the left foot down. Right ankle gets into position. We're grabbing the left shin. Okay. Head comes back down to the mat. And every time you exhale, breathe into the right glute. Uh, Let's release the left leg. Stay in our backs for happy baby. Bring both legs in the air. Arms are the inside parts of your legs, and then you grab the outside parts of your feet. Pull your knees toward your underarms. Pull, pull, pull. Feel those inner thighs. And then once you're in position, rock right to left, left to right. Just feel your spine against your mat. Ooh. Okay. Once you feel good, let's Release the feet, legs come back down to the mat. Let's do a nice supine twist. Move my things out of the way. I'm going to grab my right knee in towards my chest. Okay, active pull here. This first little bit, enjoy the stretch. And then we're going to bring the right knee over to the left side of our bodies as we extend out our right arm out to the right, looking towards the right. We're feeling that spine twist. Okay, continue to connect the breath with the movement. So as you breathe, relax and twist a little bit further. Ooh. All right, let's bring the right leg back over to the starting position. Oh, let's hug in our left leg, left knee. All right. And then let's bring the left knee over to the right side of our bodies. Same thing, but mirror image. Left arm as it extends out to the left. Okay, this side needs a little bit more of a twist. So I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths, more so than the other side. All right, let's bring that left leg back over. We're going to sit up for cat cow. I'm going to roll up my mat a few times. Knees. And find yourself on all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Untuck the toes. And then breathe in and bring your head and bottom up. Chest is down. And then exhale, round out your back. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head back down. Inhale, head up. Oh. Exhale, head down. Okay, push your hands in the ground. Reach the spine up towards the ceiling. Okay, inhale, head up. Exhale, head down. And one more breath cycle here. So inhale. Okay, look up to the ceiling. And then exhale one more time for this. Ooh. All right, and come into neutral spine. Oh. And let's do a thread the needle here. So keep the right hand planted. Reach the left arm through the hole you made with your right arm. Drop your left shoulder down. And then rotate, bring the left hand, left fingertips up to the ceiling. Feeling that spine rotate. And then reach back through, drop the left shoulder down. And then reaching back up. Hopefully you feel that nice rotation. One last time here, reaching through. And then back up top. Ugh. And then return the left palm to the mat or the ground. and reach through with your right arm. All right. Rotate that right hand up to the top, up your ceiling. And second time through, dropping the right shoulder. All right, come back up. Okay, last reach here. Ugh. And then last time up into the air. You bring that right arm back down. Ooh. Let's unravel our mats. Let's begin our closing sequence. No, knees are just as wide as your mat. Let's sit on our heels for a moment. Kind of feel that stretch in my quad, feels good. Let's breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, come forward into child's pose. Resting your forearms, forehead on your mat. All right, let's do a bonus side stretch here. So take that right hand and extend it out to the right and stack your left hand right on top of the right and feel the stretch go through your left side. Ooh. Okay. Then bring your hands back, center. And then the left hand goes out to the left. The right hand is stacked on top. We are feeling the stretch go through the right side of our bodies. And return back to a neutral child's pose. Long breaths in and long breaths out. I want to take this moment to thank our bodies for everything it's done, everything we ask it to do, and everything we will ask it to do. Come forward out of child's pose. Rotate onto your back. Oh, oh. Taking your time to get there. Oh. Relaxing top to bottom, bottom to top. Arms are at your sides. And gently close your eyes. And do a body scan. Compare how you feel versus the beginning when you did a check to see how you felt. Or just lie here and breathe. We'll go for 90 seconds. I won't say anything starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was about 90 seconds. Slowly begin to come back to life. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Ugh. I'm going to reach my arms up above. Point my feet at the bottom. Give yourself a nice morning stretch. Oh, wow, it's a yawn. It's a real morning stretch. I'm still going. Ugh. Ugh. All right, let's roll on to your side. Rest your head, face in your hands. All right, whichever arm is on top, lift that palm on the mat and push yourself back up. Ooh, back to a sitting position. Oh. Ugh. All right. Let's do our 3 audible breaths to end today's practice. So breathing in through the nose and breathe out with some sound. Okay, next one, breathing in through the nose and breathe out with some sound. Last one, breathing into the nose and breathe out with some sound. Bring our hands to our hearts. You may repeat after me if you wish. May you have clear and kind intentions. Let's raise our hands to our foreheads. May you have clear and kind thoughts. Let's lower our hands to our lips. May you have clear and kind intention or clear and kind communications. And then returning our hands to our hearts. And as always, the light in me celebrates and honors the light in you. Namaste, my friends.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. I
Oh, yeah.
needed it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
All right. Let's have a good week.
have a good week. Yes.
See you, Risa. Ugh.
Thank you.